Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Okay, good morning. Welcome to our 90th Citron webinar series with the title of How to Introduce Coding to Kids. I would like to thank everyone for joining us this morning. Okay, thank you very much. Hello. Hello everyone. Good morning. Okay, so with us today we have TS Dr. Ruzlaini Goni, the author of Creative bersama Microbit and pengenalan asas Arduino as our presenter today. Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
Uh, how are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you, Suad?
Alhamdulillah, I'm also good. Where are you live from, Doctor?
I'm live here from Kemaman, Terengganu.
Oh, that's far. I'm from Selangor and you're from Terengganu. But then, Alhamdulillah, we can do a webinar today. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly this morning. Okay. Assalamualaikum and morning, everyone. Okay. So, are you ready, Doctor?
Inshallah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite our presenter, Dr. Ruzlaini, to deliver her speech on how to introduce coding to kids. Please, Doctor.
Okay, thank you, Suad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, everyone. Rabbi shrahli sadri wa yassirli amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. First of all, I would like to thank Citron Technologies for the honor of inviting me to be part of the webinar series from Citron Technologies. I'm so delightful to share whatever knowledge I have with all of you. So this session is not going to be a very strict and formal session. We are going to go in a Santai mode. Okay, so you are free to ask me at any time, and I'll try to explain within my capacity, within my knowledge. Okay, so our topic today is how are we going to introduce coding to kids? So I believe nowadays, if we talk about coding, I would say like 50% of us will somehow know what is coding as compared to before. When we said coding, when we said programming, so this is this some kind of fears of coding of programming. So I think this is a very good and positive development of coding here in Malaysia for our kids in Malaysia to join together with this coding movement. Okay, so my name is Ruzlaini Bitigoni. I am a senior lecturer at University College Tati. And I think I've been a friend with Citron Technologies for quite some time, especially with Cheryl. Cheryl, are you there? Thanks, Cheryl, for inviting me as well. Okay, so
Yes.
what is coding? Okay, as you can see at my left side, that is coding basically. So as you can see, you don't know what is the word is all about, what is the text is all about, what is the exclamation marks, what is the dollar mark there. So that is coding basically. So when we show this to parents, when we show this to kids, okay kids, okay parents, okay teacher, this is coding. I believe no one would like to learn coding. I believe that would be the case because just looking at that, this is the example that we can say that coding with multiple colors, but we don't even yet seen the coding with only one text color, either the white color or the black color. So this is coding to start with. It's a text code. Okay, so it's instructing a computer what to do, something through step by step commands. Okay, for example, I am communicating with Suad. It's either I'm using Malay language or I'm using English as our communication. And whatever I said, whatever I asked, Suad can answer my question, and as well, if Suad asks me the question, I can answer the question. That is communicating. That is us communicating among us with the language that both of us are familiar with. So, how are we going to give instruction? How are we going to communicate with computer? So we cannot say just, hi computer, I want you to run this. Hi computer, I want you to do this. So that is not the case. So this is what coding is all about. How am I, the human being, would like to go to give an instruction to computer that is machine to run whatever task that I like the computer to do for me. So on a brief definition, on a brief mode, that is coding is all about. So we cannot just simply give instruction like this. We have to have a special code given to the computer. Within this code, the computer will understand what is the command given. So that is coding. And what is coding used for? Okay, we have this misconception. I've come through with this misconception a lot before, which is when we talk about coding, when we talk about programming, all of, most of the parents, most of the teachers, they will think of coding must involve something with robotic, something with big machine. That is coding for them. I need you to know that coding is very, the field of coding is big. It's not just about something related to robotic, something related to automation. It is basically coding is all around us. You use the computer run everything you want, it's run for you. That is coding behind the scene. You go to ATM, auto teller machine, and take out your money. What this term nowadays they said tekan dekat batu dekat dinding and the money comes out. Okay, itu the terms that yang I biasa jumpa dekat TikTok nowadays. So that is behind the scene. That is coding. When I press this one, this item will come out. When I press this one, my money will come out. That is behind the scene is coding. So without even you notice, basically all around us, the thing that do automatically around us without us noticing it, that is coding. So coding is used to tell the apps to run. What kind of apps? We have so many apps nowadays. We have beside the apps like Microsoft Office, also the software, the apps. We have social media apps. We have TikTok. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. What else? Twitter, that LinkedIn. That's all is apps, and behind the apps is coding. And nowadays, kids are into gaming. So name it, PUBG. What else? PUBG is the only thing I know. Okay, so that is behind the scene is also coding. Okay, the thing that you click, and the icon, what you call the heroes running here and there's the warriors running here and there's behind the scene, that is coding. Okay, and coding powers much of your children interact through the apps in the laptops, the software in the laptops, the Microsoft Office, whatever software in your laptops. Behind the scene, it is coding, the websites, and the social media. So, as I said before, coding is basically all around us. It's just that the ease of coding, the ease of the product out of coding that is provided around us made us did not noticing that actually whatever behind the apps, the software is coding. So just bear in mind, we are actually living in the world of coding. Okay, within the world of coding. All right. So if you have any question, you can ask me. Betul tu. Okay. All right. So some people say computers are smart. Okay, are smart than us, smarter than us. But without coding, computer would sit lifeless. Okay, you can say if I click this, the computer will do this. If I click this at Microsoft Excel, this calculation will come out. If I click this, if I do this in my PowerPoint, so the animation will come out. So the computer is great. The computer is smarter than us, but it is the coding who did all those application, all those apps that we ask the computer to do. But you have to bear in mind who is the person behind that do this coding, that give the instruction to the computer, that provide us with like thousands, millions, billions of coding to make these computers, this machine, these apps, this web page, whatever you just name it, working. So it's the code that brings everything to life. And the computer is simply an obedient rule follower. I like this term. The computer is simply an obedient rule follower. Okay? Computer dia tak rebellious macam human. Okay? Like us human. If like our mother said this one, tiba-tiba today I'm moody. I don't want to listen to my mom. And I don't want to be to do anything. I want to be rebellious today. So I don't follow. But computer, there is no such thing within the computer. If you give the computer the code, they will implement the computer. Except if the computer is broken, okay, we come up with error whatsoever. That is not that we can say that is the rebellious mode of the computer if it is broken. Okay, so basically it's all about coding that brings everything to life, that make it happens through the computer, through the webs, through the apps, whatever, you just name it. All right. And why coding? Okay, so this is the question that has been asked. I think nowadays this question is quite common. Do I need to learn coding? Is it a must for my kids to learn coding? Do I need to force my kid to learn coding? So as you can see in the picture, okay, the kids and the mom is playing a game, very simple game, with direction, arrow direction, with some simple icon. That is basically coding. So you don't think coding is about need to be something that is very complicated. So this is the starting, the basic of coding. So just give the instruction so that if I click this icon, this will happen. If I click this right arrow, uh, the item will move to the right. So this is coding. We giving the instruction. Okay, even if in the game. In this case, it is game based. Okay, so coding. The first thing we are talking about the skill that could be acquired out of the students being exposed to coding. So the first one is it will promote logical and critical thinking. This is very important nowadays. Okay, I always say that okay, if you are good students, if you are best students, I mean, if you are university graduate with 4-pointer students, okay, just ask you any question out of the books. You can simply answer the question. But then, if I ask you some question that is not in the book, that is require you as a student to give me the answer by blending your experience through observation, through critical thinking, not all of the students can provide us with this kind of answer. Okay, so bear in mind. So nowadays, these skills, the logical and critical thinking and problem solving skill, this is the most must have skills for our students, for our children, for all graduates out there to compete. Okay, so several recent studies have found that a positive correlation between computer programming or coding is the same thing, right? Between computer programming and cognitive skills. So the correlation is positive correlation. So when the student is being exposed to the computer programming, they will have these cognitive skills. Okay, positive correlation between these two. So this is the first thing. This is as according to the research done, the previous research done on the correlation between the kids exposed to programming and cognitive skills. Second, when kids learn to code, they are taught to break the complex problem down into smaller tasks. Okay, and this is known as decomposition. So this is very important. You can see the difference. Okay, divide these two group of students. One group that has not never ever been exposed to programming, to coding, and the other group, the active students who has been exposed to coding, who has been into coding, programming, and then you give one task to them. Okay, normally when we give that task to student, we just give, okay, students, I would like you to come out with, I have this problem. I would like to do this task, whatever task, you just name it, siram pokok ke, apa tu, bila panas lampu tutup ke, when it's daily siang and then the lampu will shut off ke, you ask the student to solve the problem and you see the difference. Okay, those who has not been exposed to um, coding or programming experience, they don't know how to do the problem. They will just think on the way, how can we do that, why, they don't have this critical thinking. But for those students who has this experience, exposed to coding, first they will start to look into the problem from the big picture. Okay, so we want to produce a product that when it is um, uh, when the water of the plant is dry, then it will automatically switch on the water pump and upper and watering the plant. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we have to understand how are we going to make this happen. Okay, the how, the when, the what, the where, all these questions, these are the guiding towards the critical thinkings. And then second, student will think of, okay, so I need to start with the draft first. Okay, this is going to be the drawing. So this is going to be our system. So this is going to be blah, 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 whatever. And then second, the student will think of, so what are we going to use? So what is going to be our sensor? How is this dry water can be detected? So this is how the student is doing the decomposition process, breaking the big problem, the complex problems into smaller tasks accordingly. Because in programming, these steps need to be happen for the program to be okay, for the program to be good. All right. So other things in coding, a programmer needs to first identify the problem. As I said before, first identify the problem. Second, analyze the problem. How are you going to solve the problem? How can we solve the problem? What can be done to solve the problem? And third is they need to create a viable solution. Okay, you have to bear in mind when we're talking about coming out with a solution. We don't say that once we do the programming, it all gonna be perfect. It all gonna be confirm 100% working. No, there is no such thing. It is a process of learning. It's gonna be error here and there. It's gonna be okay once there, if there is no error, but then the system is not as what we expected it to be. So this is the case. So this is where the learning process comes out. The critical thinkings, the logical thinkings. So why does this does not happen? Why I do this, but the output is not like this? You when you ask yourself, you are basically training yourself, developing the logical and the critical thinking. Also, this is not happen due to the sensor is not the right sensor to detect the water. We should use this sensor, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then next is test the solution. This is a must. Okay, as I said, if the program is okay, no error, then good. Then does the product, does the output is what as we expected it to be. Or first, if you test the solution, it is not working. So you have to go back to the programming. You have to go back to the system. You have to look into the system. It's either the system is problem or the coding is problem. So this is the process. This is the important process. Okay. And then you have to repeat the process if the problem is not addressed. So this is the process that along the way, when the kids is into coding, this is the process that they are learning. Okay. This learning process does not happen formally. Okay, it's not like the teacher-centered style, which is okay. So teacher will ask the student to do this. Okay, student, you do this. Next, you do this. Third, you do this. No, This teacher will just give the main instruction, and the rest is up to the student. The student itself, the kid itself, will explore this thing. Along the way, when they face challenge, when they face problem, they are automatically learning the process. And the next time, if they encounter the same problem, they will know how to do it. So this is what coding is all about. Okay, this is the number one skill that will um, acquire, that is need to be with your kids. Okay, this skill is gonna be applied continuously during their study in primary and secondary school, during their study in university, and after coming out from the university, graduate from the university, in the working environment. So this is what the student is going to apply. The student is going to do with their real life problem in working, in life, whatever. So this is the first skill that will be acquired from coding. And next is it promote focus and creativity. Okay, most of us will think that when I said the first one, coding is about logic. So normally when we said about logic, we will automatically saying that the logic is from the left brain. All the logical thinkings will come out with the left brain. Yes, that part of it is true. But then by exposing your kids to coding, it will also promote focus and creativity. So where does this creativity comes from? Okay, if you are into coding, if teachers out there and parents out there are into coding, or if you have been into learning coding formally, you will notice that once you are given assignment by your lecturer, by your teacher, by your trainer, okay, and then the problem is same, okay, do this task, this task, try to find a solution and try to come out with a coding to solve this solution. You will notice that one person to another person, they will not coming out with the same coding step unless they patiru. Then obviously the coding will be similar. But normally, from the first to each individual come out with coding does not come out with the similar coding step. But then the output is same. Why? This is creativity thinking. So this one person, he is the guy or the girls who is like more strict, um, more towards the left brain function. So this person will come out with the coding with exactly the step. Okay, this one, as what we learned, the first step is one. This the second step is this one, as accordingly. But we have another person that is more creative in terms of thinking. He or she will think that so this method, these steps, the basic steps that has been taught is too rigid and it's too complicated, which is I can simplify to more simpler steps. So the step is simpler from the first individual, but then the output is similar. So this is creativity that I'm talking about. Okay. So another things, the creativity is the kids will know how to code, to develop an apps, to develop games, animations, website, and many more. Okay. When I said that, okay, all right, kids, develop this game, develop these apps. It's not a matter of just developing the apps or the game. You have to have the creativity for you to come out with whatever apps or games you are about to do. That will attract others into your apps, into your games. That is creativity as well. Okay, and with this creativity come a certain level of focus too. Yes, at the end of the day we are talking about focus. If you don't focus, you cannot come out with the good apps, with the good games, animation, name it whatsoever. Okay, when kids develop a program, they have to consider all aspects in order to write the corresponding code. Okay, it's not just a matter of coming out with the code. Okay, this is what the teacher has taught us, so just follow the step. No, different cases, different problem, the solution will be different. Indeed. Okay, it's not going to be the same all over. So that is when exposing your kids to coding will promote focus and creativity. So if you have any question, you can ask me as well. Suan, is there any questions, Suan?
Doctor, actually, I must have a question. May I?
Okay, okay. Pardon?
Just now you keep talking about how we should focus on our kids to promote the codes, right? Okay, I also have a son. Okay, but then he is right now 2 year plus plus. Okay, but then I also, as an engineer, I also don't know how and when should I start to um teach him a coding or something like that. I also don't know how I can expose all these things to my kids. If you have any suggestion, I would love to hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Suan. That is also the most asked question, macam FAQ lah. Okay, frequently asked question. So, what is the right age for us to introduce coding to the kids? Okay, some might say, okay, when they start primary school. But overseas, some of the parents have introduced their kids to coding as early as 2 years old, 4 years old. So this is one thing that you have to bear in mind when we are talking about introducing coding to child, to like kids from 2 years old or 4 years old. We are not talking about, okay, you have to first need to know ABC. Okay, ABC lah sebab nak buat coding. Okay, so you have to know to understand the term dysfunction, what is looping, what is blah blah blah. No, what you can do is that you can introduce coding to this kid by introducing game. It's not apps game. Lego, Lego, the physical stack Lego. That is also some sort of coding, physical coding, introducing to coding to your kids. Why? Because like for example Lego, we have this apa different bentuk, ada 3 kaki, 2 kaki, and then we have to stack. Wrong stack, we are not going to come out with whatever you are going to build. So the kids needs to know how to put the block, to stack the block first. Second, have you faced with the game that is this is the box with the hole, different shape of hole, the star hole, the round hole, the square hole, and we have another block with the exact size, okay, the square blocks, the star block, in which your kids need to put the block into the hole. If for example your kids took the square block and put it in the apa tu star punya block, it won't it won't go through. So that is the example of coding as well. Okay, you
Oh,
learn to train your kids to think logically. So then your kids will know how to match. Oh, okay. Oh, so they start by looking at the physical and looking at the whole, and after some times they will know. So this one is for this one, the matching. So that is logical thinking as well. So I hope I'm seeing a question. So
yeah, yeah. But it's actually I have everything that you said, Lego, the matching balls, but then I don't actually know. Oh, that is how it works, how it's can start to make. Okay, thank you so much, doctor. Okay, please
all right.
proceed.
Okay, so so that's how for other parents, and I have this question as well. This question, this statement towards me. Okay, doctor, you okay lah? Sebab you know how to coding, then you can teach your kid to code. But us parents, we don't even know what is coding. We don't even know. I mean, this is so technical. This is so an engineering version of us. Okay, so we don't know how to teach coding to kids. No, uh, as a parent, as a teacher, you don't really need to know what is coding, what is the syntax, what is the looping, the whatever the term from the coding. You just need to understand what is coding is all about generally. Okay, generally. So after this, I'm going to show you a few coding web that you can go and do with your kids. You don't have to understand what is the coding. Just look at the way the block coding is built, then you know you are logically thinking, know how to do the coding. That is the thing. Okay, so we are going to that later on. All right, next is by exposing our kids to coding, we are basically encourages confidence and resilience. As I mentioned before, the process of come out of developing with coding is not an easy task. We are talking about text coding here, okay? We are talking about text coding. If the block coding, yes, there might be some error, but not as difficult as text coding. Then the students or the kids will have to write the coding, will have to run the coding. Running here, okay, running here is not like running. Running here is mean that you are testing the code, you are implementing the code to see whether it is working or not. That is running, okay, that is the term running in coding, okay. And you have to debug. So what is debug? Debug is to find error, okay. When you do the coding and suddenly the coding, the programming is not working. So you have to do debugging. Debugging is find the error out of the coding. So this is the process. And if you face with error, and if the coding is not working, then you have to rewrite again the coding, the program, and you have to rerun again the program. Okay, so from these steps, it will provide your kids without they noticing it the confidence, and the most important thing is the resilience. The resilience is very important. So it's not just as I mentioned early on, it's not a matter of once you do it, okay, it's working, it's confirm gonna work. No, it's not the case. Okay, this is the process, the painstaking process. At some point, the students will need to go through for them to, at the end of the day, provide with this confidence and resilience skills. Okay, and as well it can teach your kids patience. Okay, patience in doing something, in solving a problem. Okay, you cannot rush, you have to think first. When you face the problem first, you have to think. You know what, from my personal experience with us exposing to this kind of thinking, the logical thinking, the breaking down the big problem into smaller tasks, I noticed that if I was given a new task, a new research problem to solve, without I even noticed, what my brain does is first I will come to the term when I will break down the problem in two stages. Without I don't notice this behavior until dah besar ni lah. Okay, I will break down the problem into several stages, and I will look into which stages will help me to once I settle, once I solve this stage, will help me to solving another stage. This thinking is basically coming out from the logical thinking, the critical thinking, from whatever we are doing without us notice these skills. Okay, so as I always mention to my students, okay, even if you are good enough, you are so pandai, your pointer is so bagus, like 4 pointer, whatever. But then, if you don't know, if you don't have this skill, the logical skills, the critical thinking skills, the problem solving skills, you don't have patience, you don't have resilience, then you are gone. There are so many students with pandai and come with this package as well, this good package as well. So if you're not with in between having this package, then you're gone. You're nobody to start with. So this is what I'm saying. Okay, and then this is another question. Always teachers, parents will come and ask me, what is the best programming language for kids? Okay, sukalah kan tanya apa yang bagus. Oh, so ni tak bagus lah. No, there is no such thing as, okay, this programming language is bagus for your kid. This programming language is bagus. No, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as this programming is best, this programming is best. But depending on your kids' interest first, what is their interest? Your kids are into game application, your kids are into developing apps, your kids are into robotic programming, drone programming, STEM programming, or your kids are into web-based programming. So first, this is what we have to look into. As this programming will, as this application, as this product will have different programming languages first. Second, it depends on the age of the children. Okay, so for example, if my kid is like darjah satu, and I expose the kids to the text programming, yes, it's good. Text programming can solve all the complicated problem as compared to block-based programming. We are going into block-based programming after this. But then the text-based programming is not suitable for the kids as at an early age of like 7 years old. They will get bored. They don't know what is the syntax, and they will hinder themselves from uh, going into coding. So this is all the problem. This is all the issues that we need to look into first before you can answer which programming language is suitable. Not best, is suitable for your kids. That is the thing that you have to look into first. Okay, so here I have some example. Okay, at the top of the slide is the example of application that you might you have to, I would say have to look into your kids, the kecenderungan, the interest of your kids, which one of these are their interests first. And then this is the example. This is not the only coding language. This is not the only programming languages are available. This is the example of the programming that is available out there, matching with this application, with these skills that your kids are interested in. So if, for example, your kids like to come out with this Minecraft coding. Minecraft coding ni pun glamour tau sekarang. Okay, most teacher, I would say ramai teacher juga are into this Minecraft coding. Okay, buat coding for Minecraft. Alright, so Minecraft ni dia will create exciting modification of the source code of Minecraft. You can go to banyak Minecraft punya web page untuk tengok what is Minecraft, how is your kid are going into Minecraft. Okay, so basically, what are the programming language associate with the Minecraft coding? It's Java. Okay, so we have here Java, C++, JavaScript, Python, Scratch, Microbit, Arduino, HTML, CSS, Blockly. Scratch, Blockly, Microbit is block-based programming. We are going to look into it after this. Okay, so if your kids are into Minecraft coding, basically they are about to learn Java. Java is the coding language that is associated with the Minecraft coding. Second, if your kids are into making 3D games, okay, 3D games. So your kids will create hyper-realistic 3D games while designing exciting level. Exciting level lah, dah lepas level 1, okay, move to next level. I am not game person, tapi I nampak lah my kids shouting here and there, bila dah pass level lah, dapat markah lah. Right? So programming, gameplay mechanics, mastering skill used in major game development companies throughout the world. Okay, so what are the language that is involved with the 3D game? It's C++. Normally, when your kids learn in engineering or computer science, the basic language that first is going to be exposed, is going to be taught to the student is C++ lah, C or C++. Okay, so this is the basic language. All right. Next, if your kids are into making 2D web games, so 2D web game. So the languages that are involved is JavaScript, Python, Scratch, Microbit, Blockly. For your information, as I mentioned before, Scratch, Microbit, Blockly is block-based coding. Behind the scene, behind the block-based coding is basically JavaScript and Python. Okay, so the language, the major language we are talking about here is basically the JavaScript and the Python. Okay, it's just that the cosmetic cantik-cantik, JavaScript and Python duduk dekat belakang, and at the front page it's Scratch, and at the front page it's Microbit. So that is the difference. But the main language is basically JavaScript or Python. Okay, and if your kids are into building a website, okay, Kids will develop beautiful custom website like the pros. Students will learn web development, fundamental, and learn to understand and modify the structure of basic website. So this is what your kids are going to learn if they are into a website builder. All right. So what are the languages involved? It's JavaScript, it's HTML, it's CSS. So I am from engineering background. So my language is basically C++. Okay, we thought to use C++, Arduino. This is the machine language that we are into. But then I would say that once you have this basic knowledge, the fundamental knowledge of programming, giving you the Python, giving you the JavaScript, HTML, the Java, the syntax, you will some sort of understand the basic syntax of each programming. That is how programming or coding works. Okay, it's not like, all right, I only learn C++. So when I'm exposed to Python, I don't understand. No, there is no such case. If the students learn the basic C++, whatever, once they are being exposed to other languages, they will understand the syntax. Okay, that is the structure, the syntax, the student will understand. So that is what we are talking about to our kids. When we first expose the kids to block coding, giving them any kind of coding, later on as they grows up, they will understand the structure. This is what we are trying to impose to our kids. All right. So next, if your students are into robotics programming, drones programming, STEM product programming, automation programming, so basically they will expose to programming or coding of robotics, of drones, of um, anything related to automation field. Okay, and robotics is one of the growing industry, and kids will learn valuable 21st century skills out of this coding and robot drone, because it will involve two part. The first part is the coding, the second part is the hardware of it, right? And the languages in programming robotics and drone is Microbit, is Arduino, is Blockly. Yeah, as I said, Microbit and Blockly is basically the block coding. Behind that is other languages. Okay, so Arduino is one of the example. And last, if your kids are into developing mobile apps, so what is the language involved in mobile app development? It's Java. So this is the example. What is my point here is that first, you need to know, the kid itself need to be exposed to all of this. So from there, they will know, oh, I like to develop Minecraft. Oh, I like to building website. I would like to have my own website. Oh, I like to build my own game, develop my own game. Oh, I like to programming robots so that it can do whatever task I'm giving the robots. So once they are clear with this, sort of know what is their interest, then you can expose the kids to these languages. But for kids, for primary and secondary kids, my advice would be go for block coding. We are going into that later on. All right. So what is block coding? Okay, as you can see at my left hand side, block coding. So as you can see, you have the block like puzzle block, in which you will connected the block. If the connector is not similar, then the block is not going to attach, it's not going to connect. First. Second, when we are talking about the block coding, behind each block, each function, okay, each function block will have different color. Okay, basically, these different color represent different group function. We have mathematical function, we have looping function, we have logic function, we have input function. This group function is differentiate based on color. So this is what your kid are going to learn first. Okay, at the end of the day, they will uh, they will have this logic thinking beside this coding. And as what I said before, this coding behind the scene, behind this block coding is basically Java or Python or whatever uh, coding languages that has been used as accordingly. All right. So basically, block-based coding utilize a drag and drop. Drag and drop. Okay, tarik letak. Okay, environment where programmers use coding instruction, which is known as block. We call it block to construct animated stories and game, or it is an entry level activity. So this is the starting for your kids. Even if you cakap simple lah, coding is block ni simple je cantum jadi. No, there is no such thing. There is so many cases. Even if it is block coding, you will face some errors. Okay, trust me. All right, and it will expose your kid to gain a foundation in computational thinking through visual. So we call it as visual, as opposed to coding that is based on text. Okay, so this is the first thing we would like to expose our kids to coding. And okay, I'm going to share with you. This is some of the example of free coding ataupun free software available for your kids to learn. That is free, that you can expose your kid to go and try this app or this software first, without you need to pay anything. Okay, so this is the good platform for teachers out there, for parents out there, to expose your kid to coding without without you need to investing anything at first, because you want to see your kids' interest first. Where are this kid heading? So this is the best way. This is the best platform for you to go first, familiar first with the coding, the block coding. Okay. First, we have Scratch. Okay, so basically, the block-based coding is starting with Scratch. Scratch has been developed by MIT student, Massachusetts Institute Technology students, for kindergarten students. That is their project. And now Scratch has been one of the leading block coding out there. Okay, and we have Microbit after this. That is basically a the block coding from for other like Microbit code whatsoever is basically based on this Scratch block based coding. So Scratch, your kids can program. The coding is about developing an interactive stories, developing a games, or developing animation. With Scratch, you don't have to have a physical hardware with Scratch. You just go and do the programming and see what is the output. But then Scratch is more into interactive stories, like buku cerita lah, digital buku cerita. Okay, digital storybooks. Okay, first scene is, all right, these people is talking to Disney. Second, oh, this has happened. Digital storytelling with using coding. Or your kids like to develop games. Nak buat game apa, kalau parent-parent pernah main dulu-dulu, I also pernah juga main the pet games. You know the pet games in which you bagi makan dekat you punya pet. Okay, 12 p.m. 12 noon, or it's time to feeding your pet. Okay, 4 p.m. it's time to bath your pet. So that the pet game, and then you kids as well can develop pet games using Scratch as well. All right, and animation. Okay, and then Scratch is designed and developed by Scratch Foundation. It is non-profit organization. As it is non-profit, that's why it's free, and it is, as I said, provided free of charge. So we go and look at the Scratch. So this is the link to the Scratch. So can you see the page right now?
Yes, I can see. Daughter, we have around 7 minutes more.
Okay, all right. So I just go very brief. What is Scratch? Okay, so this is
Oh,
the
sorry.
example.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, so this is the example of Scratch. Okay, you can start coding the Scratch. Okay, I'm having lagging in my internet. I will introduce only one of these so that the rest is similar. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So this is the icon of the Scratch. This is we call Scratch, a sprite. Okay, Microbit as well. We got this one sprite as well. For all of you, I have wrote the book, ebook Animasi Bersama Scratch 3.0 dalam bahasa Melayu. You can get my book, ebook. This one is ebook free from eCentral. Nanti Suad will provide the link. Okay. All right. So this is the example of the coding category. This one is the motion category. When the title is motion, so it's all about motion. So this one is look. Nama pun is senang to understand. Look. So you wanna change the look. You wanna change the size, whatever regarding the look. So this is the category. You wanna change the sound. What is the event, the control, the sensing, the operators, the variables. Okay, so this is the example. So for example, what is drag and drop item? So as you can see here, the block itself is providing you with enough information that this is a starting block. Nampak why this is the starting block? Dekat atas yang on top of it, there is no connecting part. So meaning that this is a starting point. So this is as easy as that. So you just click right here. Okay, so you see the icon here. So this is the sprite. So we are basically doing the programming for this sprite. We can do the programming for the backdrops. We can do the programming for the sprites. So this one is the example if programming is for the sprite. Okay, and then I would like to do some motion, for example. So I just tarik, turn, drag and drop. Nampak the bentuk? Okay, this one is the shape. It can automatically be connected to this one. So this is the drag and drop. You can explore later on. All right, and then since we have limited time, okay, so next is microbits. Okay, microbit is a combination of Scratch and physical. It's basically a tiny size of computer, programmable computer. But then you can use microbit. You can see the simulation of microbit without having to buy the physical hardware. This is the best part of microbit. So for example, we go to code, okay. As you can see here, we have this code editor. This one is block editor. We have Python editor at the back of your editor. Okay. All right. So for example, we are into new, okay, this one is what have been done. So just click here. All right. So this is the example of Microbit. So as you can see, the group is also similar. We have basic input, music. So if your kids are into music, then you go with Microbit and ask your kid to build the music. The music, apa tu, melody ke what you call it. Okay, whatever your kid learns in school with their music lesson, ask them to build the music coding ke apa kita panggil here. The music chord ke apa here using Microbit. So this is the example. All right, so you can explore. I also provide the link for you if you want to buy the book for Microbit, Creative Bersama Microbit, Malay version, ebook or physical book. Okay, we'll provide you the link of this. And this one is Blockly. Blockly is based, is more towards the computer science, a game as well. And the coding language is based on JavaScript. Okay, the Microbit is JavaScript and Python. Okay, JavaScript and Python for Microbit. Blockly is more towards JavaScript. And next we have Codeorg. Code is more towards computer science. So what are the application of that we can build from code is your kids can build apps, game or web page using code.org. And the languages that behind the code is basically JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Lua, and PHP, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, you can go to this link and look into it yourself. So all of this that I've shown here is basically the block-based coding. Okay, I think that's all, Suad. So for all of the parents, the teachers out there, let's code. Don't be afraid of code. Just have fun. Coding as you like. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Suad.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, for the very interesting talk. Okay, if you have any question, I'm not sure if we have much time, but then if you have any question, please drop now. Okay, and then okay, but don't worry so much. Okay, because Dr. Zaini will be having another session with us next month, sharing about how you can learn microbit with make code. Okay, so stay tuned. I won't tell you guys when is the date, but then stay tuned to find out when is the date. Okay. Okay, so and then don't forget to join our Telegram group, Junior Maker Assemble. Okay, this is a group for kids actually. Okay, if you guys want to learn on electronic coding, okay, you guys are invited to join this Telegram group. Okay, and then sorry, and just scan if you want to join. Okay, it is a QR code. Just scan to join, and then okay, this is the most important thing. Okay, if you want a certificate, okay, please let us know. Okay, your feedback or thought on this webinar. Okay, because we want to keep improving our webinar on our next session. Okay, and then this link will close at 1 p.m. Today. So please make sure that you guys fill in this survey form today. Okay, and then you guys will get the e-certificate in your email after you submit the feedback. Okay, and then is there any question? I didn't see any question from anyone. Like then no question, I guess. And then okay, I think today's session is very I don't know how to say, but I can see how passionate you are in this. I was like, oh, okay. I think now I know how to share or how to teach my son on coding. Okay, I know now how I can start. Okay, with it. Okay. On behalf of Cytron Technologies, there's not no okay no more from okay let me show this great explanation. Okay, yes, it is indeed a very good sharing today, I think. Okay, then if there is no more question, on behalf of Cytron Technologies, I would like to thank you everyone today, especially Dr. Laini for today's webinar. It's so interesting. Okay, I feel like oh I admire you so much. Okay, because you are also a woman. Okay, woman because for this electronics coding not so much involvement from women and girls. Okay, then I feel like we should bring these things, right, Doctor? Okay, so we hope that you guys enjoy the webinar. Is there any few words that you want to say before we end this webinar, Doctor?
Okay, as you mentioned just now, thanks again to Cheryl's, to my Citron Technologies teams, and I am in the movement of STEM for girls encouragement. So girls out there, come join us. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you everyone and see you next time. Bye. Assalamualaikum.